Hey,
What's going on?
so we bought something and she's saying that it didn't ring up right, but we paid for it.
Let's figure this out, okay?
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I have my card, please?
Absolutely, man. So, ma'am, you want to come explain this?
Okay, so they just reserved by the register themselves, and then like it's a penny. So I told them that we have to change the price on it, and they wanted to walk out.
We didn't steal anything.
We paid for it.
And
Her name is
item right
Chanel. We
here
have badge
is
number
a-
1986. What's your name, sir?
Sure. Go and do.
are we being detained right now? Because we didn't steal anything. We paid for it.
Can we talk to the manager really quick?
I have a receipt. I'm
If
not gonna sit here and
we're
wait
if we're
for
being
something, right?
detained, that's a different story, but we're free to leave at this point.
Oh, I mean, you guys aren't. It's just.
Thank you. Have a
We
nice day.
paid for an item.
You
We
know,
got a
but-
receipt for it, man.
Yeah.
Well, actually, hang on, guys. If
Are
there's
we free
allegation,
or are we being detained?
if
Because we didn't steal anything. If they ring,
Are we
if they-
free to leave or are we being
if
detained?
they're making allegations, I'm trying to explain to you, man.
Free to leave or being detained?
You guys are being detained.
Okay.
Okay.
Why are we being detained, sir?
So basically, there's an allegation of theft being made.
No, there is not. She said we paid for something for a penny. She just told you there was nothing being stolen.
Look, we paid
There's
for it.
there's allegate.
I mean, it's not our fault if they don't have it the right price.
Guys,
they have
and
it
I
on
get
the
that. I'm with you
yeah,
guys on
they
this,
have it
okay?
on the sales floor.
So there's
But-
an allegation of theft, even though we have a
Look,
receipt
So
in
I'm
our
just
hand.
investigating it, sir, and that's why you guys are not being handcuffed or anything. I'm sure there's an explanation to all of this. Let's talk it out, and then
Okay.
you guys will be good to go.
I mean,
Is
we
that
have.
fair?
I mean, if we're being detained right now,
We have a problem.
yeah, we have a problem. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, there's just an allegation of
She didn't
even
say
if
we
it's
stole
not,
it.
She
She,
never-
but
yeah.
if it's not ringing up correctly, and they're saying you didn't pay the right amount for it,
Mhm.
then I just have to investigate it.
Right,
okay?
that's a civil matter.
So
Yeah,
just give us a few minutes, okay?
that's fine.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
really.
I mean-
I'm working the overtime detail here.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to make sure.
Of course, but
You
we
know what I
didn't
mean?
steal anything. It's on the receipt.
I don't doubt that,
Yeah.
and we'll figure this out, okay?
Mhm.
Is your body cam rolling? Do you have a supervisor available?
Yeah, my body camera's on right now.
Okay. Do you mind asking
So-
for a supervisor, please?
Sure.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Not a problem. 1986 was fine. Hey, can you open up a 68 for me at the Home Depot? And I'm out with two.
Welcome back, everybody. As many of you guys know, I'm a law enforcement trainer and instructor. I train and instruct military and law enforcement all over the country on various law enforcement disciplines to include constitutional law, case law, patrol tactics, use of force, advanced investigations, etc. And here in this video clip, we see that Home Depot has called for service, right? They have called law enforcement because they are alleging theft or some kind of criminal activity that they believe warrants a police officer. And for those of you that have never been in law enforcement, I can tell you that this is very common. In fact, I would say the majority of the times we respond to a call, there isn't necessarily a crime that's happening. And a lot of that has to do with, as you can see on this channel, cops by and large don't know the law. They don't know statutes. They seemingly don't know case law. And so it's not surprising that neither does the general population either. And so going at this, right, and I want to be fair to this officer as much as possible. I appreciate his professionalism. I believe he was polite. I believe his demeanor was professional. But I think he held these people too long. And ultimately, I think if we were to ask him if he had reasonable articulable suspicion to detain, I don't believe he has it based upon what we're seeing. Unless there's other factors here, which there may be. So I'm going to hold judgment. But based upon what I'm seeing, I'm seeing no reasonable articulable suspicion for detention. You can see here on the screen, Brown v. Texas, 1979. We talk about this all the time here on this channel. Again, the Supreme Court has affirmed that law enforcement needs what's called reasonable articulable suspicion in order to detain and compel somebody to identify themselves. So they need reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime. And I don't see that here, at least not based upon what I can articulate. And so we're going to talk about, for example, here in Oklahoma, just our local state laws as it regards to this, and then our definitions here, just to kind of get a better understanding of this. But ultimately, I think that it's important to note two things here. Okay, the first thing is, again, I like his professional demeanor, right? I like that he's being calm, cool, and collected. But I personally believe that he has held these people unlawfully, right, without reasonable articulable suspicion, without having the ability to articulate it, too long. That's what I believe. And I believe that this is being done not because he doesn't want to do the right thing In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think the reason why this is being done is because he does not have the investigative prowess he needs to be comfortable just letting these people go. I'm not just being real honest with you. I'm being real honest with you. I think a lot of times, especially officers that are trying to do, and I believe he's trying to do the right thing. Again, he doesn't have the investigative prowess to be like, all right, I don't care, go, right? But everybody's different, right? So again, you guys know I teach the advanced investigation course, and usually the officers that go to the advanced investigators course are already detectives or criminal investigators at their agencies. So when we put on this course, we're putting one on here next month in September, mid-September, and so at that advanced investigators course, it's already packed, right? And so usually, more likely than not, most of the time, it is filled with detectives and criminal investigators. Very rarely do we get people that are not in some kind of investigative role in it, because number one, it's not the cheapest class in the world. It's multiple days long. It's almost a week long, and it's very costly to send somebody through this course. And so a lot of times, again, we're getting agencies' best and brightest when it comes to criminal investigations. A lot of these people are what you would call seasoned officers, seasoned investigators, and you would be surprised, and I'm constantly surprised each class how little they actually know, how little the people in that class know. And I don't mean this I'm not meaning this to be hurtful to them, but what I'm trying to say is, if you think most officers or even most detectives, investigators are able to articulate the stuff that I articulate here for you daily like that, they can't. By and large, most law enforcement can't. Very, very few can. And, I know a lot of you guys probably have this perception that all cops know this stuff, and that would be a false equivalency. And I wish that they did, and I wish that this was more taught, but I believe in this, and I say that to say this is a patrol officer, and he's even telling you, hey, this is just an overtime gig for me, right? And so I believe in this case, he did not want to let them go, not because, and we saw it, and again, those statements are just so damning in my opinion, not because he even said it, well, I'm not denying that, I'm not doubting that. So then why are you holding them, right? You were literally going against Supreme Court case precedents with your words. But I think what it is he doesn't want them to go in retrospect of what happens if, right? He's thinking about the future of, what if there's some information in this that I don't have yet that comes to light and now they're gone. And that's his biggest holdup. And for somebody like me, go. I don't care. Because if I need to find you again, I'm going to find you. I'm going to get your information. And I have that confidence because I'm that confident in the case law, and I'm that confident in what I do. This patrol officer, again, it's very clear to me, and I see this a lot. They don't want to let the person go, not because they have reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime, but because they're afraid that here in 30, 40 seconds, a minute, they're going to get that information, the people's going to be gone, right? And ultimately, officers need to just get over that. They do. They need to get over it, and they need to get better at their investigative skills. So, if this was me, and what I do, right, do I believe he had reasonable articulable suspicion to say, hey, stop, let me figure out what's going on, because as right now, they're saying that you're stealing something, you're walking out with an item, I have reasonable articulable suspicion, right? I believe as soon as he walks up, because reasonable articulable suspicion is not a static thing. People think it's static. You get more information as it goes to lead credibility, or, right, to lead credibility that a crime has, or to delineate the fact that no crime has been conducted here. That's the whole purpose of an investigation. But you can only detain in your investigation with reasonable articulable suspicion. And so I think the initial stop, hey, this is what I got, this is what I'm here for. But as soon as they presented that receipt and the lady said it rung up the wrong way, immediately I know, okay, my reasonable articulable suspicion at this point is now gone. And the reason why I can make that delineation so quickly is because I know my statutes, and I know For example, the jury instructions on that stat, I know this by heart. And I know it by heart because I look at this stuff all the time, right? As an investigator, right? This should be your bread and butter. As a patrol officer, this should be your bread and butter. And there's allegations. You can only have allegations or reasonable articulable suspicion, right? You can only delineate reasonable articulable suspicion based upon the elements. So if you don't know that, and if you don't know the elements of the law that you're trying to uphold, how could you have reasonable articulable suspicion? And I know that might go over some of your guys' heads, and I understand that. But essentially what I'm saying is, if you don't know that, for example, larceny, as you can see the elements here on your screen, this is what I'm trying to say in case I'm going over your head. If you don't know that there's 7 elements to larceny in the state of Oklahoma, and if you don't know what they are by heart, how do you know you have reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime? Or how do you have probable cause when you can't name off the elements? Because again, no person may be convicted of petty larceny unless the state has proved beyond a reasonable doubt each element of the crime. These elements are, boom, right? First, taking. Second, carrying away. Third, personal property. Fourth, of another. Fifth, of value. Sixth, by fraud, stealth. Seventh, with intent to deprive permanently. So, are these people taking away? Yes. Are they carrying away? Yes. Personal property? Yes. Of value? Yes. By fraud or stealth? No. With the intent to deprive permanently? No. They're not depriving anybody because they never took it by fraud or stealth, right? And so you may be thinking, well, what does fraud and stealth mean? Well, that's a great question. So by stealth would be like hiding it, right? Fraud, for example, as you can see here, also delineated in Oklahoma jury instructions, larceny definitions. Fraud, a false representation intended to cause a surrender of personal property from the person in rightful possession. So an example of this, right? An example of this would be you're at Home Depot and you go to the front and let's say you took a picture of a skew of a nail, but you're scanning a lawnmower, right? So you're trying to take a power tool or a lawnmower, you're trying to take a more expensive item by scanning a cheaper item and paying for the cheaper item. That would be by fraud, right? You are using fraud to make a purchase that is not of the item you're trying to take in the intent to stealthily, with fraud, leave the establishment. People do that all the time. We see it on the social medias, right? People will go buy something, but they'll scan something else at Walmart or something like that, especially with the self-checkouts. So that would be by fraud. Like, hey, the item here you have is a power tool, but you scanned the drill bit. So where's the drill bit at? Right? But in this case, we didn't have that because they showed the receipt to the item. So once the receipt was given over to law enforcement, and once he verified that that item was in fact brought up, that SKU was brought up for that price, and that service, right, that payment was received, that's it. There's no theft. The theft has no longer, your reasonable suspicion for theft is no longer there. And so at that point, they're 100%. I don't see how this officer is able to justify and legitimize holding them there longer. And again, I've been to this very call, right? And so let me just give you a few ideas, right? Because this is not the time and venue to teach an advanced investigation course. Again, that course is a week long. And so what I will kind of, if you are an officer and you're listening to this and you're like, well, what do I do? Well, number one, you need to respect people's rights. Constitutional rights, that's their God-given rights, so you have to respect that. That's your job. If you can't do that, don't be in law enforcement. You don't deserve to be in law enforcement. You don't want to be in law enforcement. You shouldn't be in law enforcement. Let me just give you my honest opinion. But if let's say there's other indicators here, right? Let's say there's other indicators for whatever reason. There's other elements we're not seeing. You don't have the information yet, but let's just say it's just your gut. You're like, man, I really think there's more here. Okay. Are they free to go? Yeah. What's stopping you from following them to their car, writing down there anything that you can see, plain view doctrine, United States v. Harris, right? You have what's called the totality of circumstances, Illinois v. Gates. Why don't you do that, right? You can easily write down their plate, right? You can easily write down what you see, right? Until they leave, if you want to get their VIN and read it, like there's all these different things you can do. You can ask for it. Hey, can I get your ID? No, I don't have reasonable articulable suspicion. You're not detained, but I would like it. And if not, that's fine. Call for another unit. You already did. You're now calling for a supervisor. Yeah, call another unit. Kansas v. Glover, People v. Bushley. You have every right to run these inquiries on the job. 110%. Even without reasonable articulable suspicion, you can run these inquiries. So why don't you? Why aren't you? Yeah, go to the car. They may not like that, but you're not violating their rights. You're getting the information. Hey, I get it, and I don't want to violate your rights. I don't want to. And by just giving me your ID, I can document this. I want to document this, but I'm not going to violate your rights either. I'm not going to violate your rights. But the Supreme Court has said I can absolutely run your tag. And when I run your tag, I'm going to have more than just what's on your driver's license. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. You're going to have to take up with the Supreme Court with People v. Bushley and Kansas v. Glover. I don't know what to tell you. Right? And I've had that conversation. I don't have a problem having that conversation. And the people in the comment section on YouTube may not like that. But hey, we care about reality here. I care about reality. And that's the Supreme Court. And that's the Constitution. Like it or not, that's the law of the land, pursuant to in accordance with judicial review as established by Mayberry versus Madison. Again, I can do this all day. And that's just one example of an investigative tool. Hey, if they paid digitally, right, chances are they may not have paid in cash. If they didn't pay in cash, they paid with card. If Home Depot wants to be a victim and wants to further look into this, hey, give me everything you got on this card. Give me everything. Print it out for me. Tell me who they care. And then from there, you can continue to do your investigation. If your RP doesn't want to provide that information from you, good. I'm clear. 10-8. Let's get out of here. Let's move on to the next thing. Again, work with the tools you have. If you have a victim, alleged victim that doesn't want to cooperate, cool. If you have people that don't want to consent to having their ID taken, cool. That's fine. Again, use your other investigative tools and prowess to come down with a solution. Or you can be as lazy with it as you want and say, hey, I don't have reasonable articulable suspicion for a crime. It looks like everything here was paid for. Boom, I'm out. Me personally, in this situation, as soon as I saw that receipt that says, yes, this item pulled up for this amount, she's absolutely right. It's civil. I'm out of here, man. Sorry. You should probably fix that. Yes, my name is so-and-so. This is the department I'm with. This is my badge number. Hope you guys have a great day. And I'd clear. So, anyway, I know this is probably... What's great about this video is I'm sure I have made everybody upset, right? I've made the cop upset. I've made those people that are watching this that think that a cop should never make any inquiries. I'm sure these people here, you know, on their side, if you're on the cop side, you're upset with me. If you're on their side, you're upset with me. I just can't, I can't please everybody in this, but all I can do is give you the reality. So again, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. But most importantly, tell me what you think. Did I get this wrong? Is my interpretation of this wrong? How would you handle it? If you thought there was more to this, how would you handle it? I'm curious to know in the comment section below. As always, guys, long live the Republic.